Welcome to Quality Education. Do you want to apply for job or study in Finland? Do you want to come for the higher studies? You already have bachelor and master's degree. Do you want to use your degree or professions to find job here in Finland? So you need to know, is your profession regulated or non-regulated? So in this video, I'm going to explain to you what are the regulated professions and non-regulated professions. If regulated professions, what you need to do, how you need to process, the documentation and everything, and what is the fee structure. And if you're in the non-regulated professions, then what are the things that you need to do to go for the higher studies or to find the job here in Finland. So let's talk about the non-regulated professions first. When you plan to come to Finland, of course, you have the two things in your mind. Either you want to come for studies or for the job. For example, if you want to come for the study, you already have a bachelor's and master's degree. You can directly apply to the university. When the admissions are open, you can submit your all documents, bachelor or master's degree, transcripts, mark sheets, and some other additional documents. So once you submit your documents to the university administration is going to assess your documents, and they're going to give you some credit hours, and they will check if you really meet the credit requirements or no. So once you get your credentials approved, you get the credit hours, then university gives you admission and you can come and study here in Finland. But if not, then you have to go through some additional requirements, to complete your requirements for the program that you want to apply. So once everything is done, you get the study place, you get the admission letter. Based on that offer letter, you can apply for residence permit. Then you can come to Finland and start your studies in the university or institution. The second thing is your job purpose. For example, you have bachelor and master's degree. You want to apply for job here in Finland. So what you can do, that you can directly apply to the employer. You can submit all your documents, your degree, your trainings, your experience, transcripts, and everything. Once you submit to them, they have the authority to assess your documents. Once they assess your documents, you don't need any additional requirements, so they can give you offer letter. And then you can apply for the residence permit and come to Finland and start working. Or sometimes you need to go through the additional requirements, for example, language requirement. So they suggest you to go through the language course. They provide you the language course where you are given the online classes. After completing the online classes, you need to go through some, test exam procedure where you take the test, online test. Once you finish, you get your result, and then you can come here to Finland. In some cases, maybe you need to go through some additional trainings. For example, if you have done master's degree in physics or chemistry, you want to work in the chemical industries or in the electronics, for example, you deal with the electricity and electrical energy, then you need to go through the Finnish Chemical and Safety Agency, which is called Tukis. There you have to take the test. Once you pass the test, then you get the license and you can start working in the industry. Or in some cases, for example, you have some kind of degree, that is not clear to the employer. They can get your degree checked by, the Finnish Education Agency. Or if it's related to the electricity and electronics, then it can go to the SERI OE, where your degrees are checked, go through the recognition process. And remember that if you go through these additional requirements, so you need to take the test from Tukis. The tests are conducted in Finnish language, so you need to have a good Finnish language skill, to understand everything or all the materials, then go through the test. And once you take the test, you pass the test, then of course you can start working here in Finland. But remember that Finnish language is important here. So if you want to study, apply directly to the university or the institute and get your degree credited. And if you want to apply for the job, apply directly to them and they can offer you a job, or they can ask you to go through the additional processes. And once you go through all of them, then the employer can give you an offer letter, job letter. Basing on that job letter, you can apply for the residence permit and come to Finland. The process is simple, but of course you must know everything. Let me tell you the professions, those are not required to go through the recognition process. For example, if you want to work in technology sector like software development and cybersecurity, in IT profession, roles in creative arts like artist or something like that, and tourism, hospitality, transport, sports, marketing, administrative position, or any supportive kind of roles. In these roles, if you are in these industries or in these fields, you don't need to go through the recognition process. You can directly apply to the employer. They give you a job, then you can do the further procedure. Now let's talk about the regulated professions. What are the regulated professions here in Finland? For example, if you want to work as a doctor, nurse, teachers, lawyers, or some other engineering fields. So if you want to work in these fields, your degree or education must go through the recognition process. In order to do that, you have to apply for the official recognition from OED, which is Finnish National Agency for Education. You can apply it yourself, apply it online through studyinfo.fi services using electronic form. Once you submit all the requirements, your education and degrees will go through the comparability process and you will be recommended to do some supplementary studies. Here, Ministry of Foreign Affairs can also help you with the legislation of your documents if needed. And of course, this is a separate process that you need to do in the recognition process. You will submit your all requirements through studyinfo.fi. You need to submit your degree, your courses, certifications, all what you have done, along with your experiences in the field, your transcript, proof of nationality, for example, passport or residence ID if you are in Finland. And also, if you have changed your name during the study process, you need to submit also the documents so that there will not be confusion. The documents must be in English, Finnish, or Swedish language. If it's in the other language, you need to go through the official translators, to translate the documents. Once you submit your all requirements through Study Info, you will receive the confirmation email that your application has been submitted. If there is any lacking documents or they need further documentation, for the clarification, you will receive an email from Finnish National Agency for Education. They will send you an email to submit that document. Once you submit the document, of course, you will be in the process. The process takes 3 to 4 months time. You don't need to email them. Even you send them email, it will not speed up your process. So you just need to wait. Once the process is completed, you will receive an email that the decision has been made on your application. In order for you to get that decision in a paper form or official decision, you need to apply for the decision. So again, you have to apply through Study Info. The same way, you need to pay the separate fee for the decision. You need that decision because that will be an official document that you need to submit, to the institutes for the higher studies, or if you want to work here in Finland. So apply for final decision using e-application through Study Info, pay the fee, and get the decision. Once you receive the decision, you still have chance to appeal the decision. For example, if you have submitted the requirements and you feel like the decision is not okay, you can appeal against the decision. A decision can be appealed at the administration court in Finland, which you can apply through suomi.fi. So this was the entire procedure that I have explained to you. Now let's talk about the fee structure, how much you have to pay when you do the process. If you have completed the higher degree abroad, you have bachelor degree, master's degree, you have completed abroad and you wanted to recognize, once you submit through Study Info, the initial fee you need to pay is 100 euro. And then once you receive the decision, they need to apply for the decision as an official document. The fee you pay is 237 euro. So 100 euro processing fee, 237 euro is the decision fee. For example, you have applied some study for the comparability that requires some expert opinion. Then there the fee structure is a little bit different. The processing fee is 100 euro and the decision fee is 375 to 671 euro. The reason for the variable fee is they sometimes need to ask the expert opinion. They need to submit your degree or your documents to different university professors where they assess, they evaluate themselves, and then they give some official expert opinion. So they also pay them to do this service. And if you're applying for the childcare or early childhood teacher here in Finland, the processing fee is 138 euro and the decision fee is 495 euro. These are the three basic structures of fee, but of course, if you open their website and you check, you can find more detail about the fee structure and the breakdown, of course. For the medical professionals, they have to go through the regulatory authority, which is called Valvira. Valvira assess your credentials and then they give you a license or recommend you to go through the additional studies here in Finland. For the nursing profession, the process is very simple. If you have diploma or bachelor degree from your country, you first need to go through the top-up program where you can apply through, the University of Applied Sciences. You apply for the top-up 1-year program. Usually it is online with the less presentations, in the institute. Once you complete that top-up program, you have finished bachelor degree in nursing. On the basis of that, you can apply for the license through Valvira and you get your license as a nurse, registered nurse, then you can work as a nurse here in Finland. And for the physicians, if you have doctor's degree in your own country, you have a license in your own country, so you have to go through the two requirements. One is your internship. You need to do 6 months internship here in Finland, Once you finish the internship, after that you need to take the Finnish language test, and if you pass the test, then you can take the license here in Finland and you can start working as physician. So these are the two requirements for the physicians. Along with their license in their home country, they need internship 6 months and OKI test. So this is how you can do the recognition for your academic degrees and your professions here in Finland. Please like and share the video if it helps. If you have any question, you can drop down in the comment section. I'll see you there. If you still have difficulty in processing, of course, you can contact me and ask for free advice. And if you have planned to apply here in Finland for job or study or anything, you want to come to Finland, you can ask me any question. I'll be happy to help you. This is quite enough for today. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.